Shane to speak? Come on up, Mr. Shane.
All right. My name is Larry Kane. I'm a real estate broker, and I've asked to sell 55 acres for the Hugh Glass estate. And I talked with the county engineer, and he said that I should talk to y'all. So, I hope you can read this map, I hope it's clear enough, but, the property that's gonna be for sale has several roads through it. And as you can see, it divides the property up into some tracts that are smaller than 10 acres. The acreage that's showing on, like the tracks, this property's on County Road 51 near Rock Mountain Church. And there are several smaller tracts that have been created by the road division. And the question I had to the engineer and the question that I have tonight is, would it be permissible to sell these smaller tracts since they're already subdivided by the road, or would y'all require us to include additional property across the road just to make it 10 acres?
This is listed as one parcel.
Well, it's actually, yes, it is one, it's 55 acres. It's actually 2 tax IDs, but it actually is one big tract of land that's bisected by several, well, really 4 different roads.
Is it all on one deed, or do you know offhand?
I would suspect it is, but I can't answer that because I haven't researched that. I just know, he has 2 daughters and they asked me to sell it, but I haven't, researched it as far as whether or not, what the deed looks like. I don't know. I can find out.
I think,
Well,
you
can answer that.
we can, I think there might be a solution coming,
Okay.
so.
Are you needing to sell this in the next few weeks, 3 weeks, 4
Well,
weeks?
if there's something coming down the road that would, and this may or may not be an issue, I don't know till I put it on the market, but I wanted to know what I could do before I did that. And if there's a potential solution, then there's no urgency in that we gotta put it on the market right now, right this minute.
Well, I think there'll be a potential solution probably within the next 4 weeks. Hopefully. We've got a land development crew, and we've met a committee crew, and we've met a couple of times, so we're working on something that I
Okay.
think probably will help you on this.
Okay. What would be your advice to just wait until y'all
I would, if you don't mind me,
Go right
Mr.
ahead.
Chair, I would stay for the rest of the meeting.
Okay.
I have questions here. These little blocks, are these lots?
Those are subdivision lots, but it's not part of this property.
Okay,
I'm
there's
sorry.
no road
Proper-
frontage on these
No, the
lots?
properties is in blue, I'm sorry,
The dark blue.
the dark blue.
Okay,
And
The
that's,
bold
it
blue.
may, that's why I say it may not be, I tried to make it clear, but it may not be. But that's not part of it, that's just, some
Yeah,
adjoining
your heavy
properties.
blue line is the outline
heavy
of the
blue line,
55
yes.
acres, okay?
Yes. And on the tax map, it's a 21 acre and a 34 acre parcel.
Okay. Yes, if you'll hang around for the rest of the meeting, I think you might get somewhat of an answer, or a beginning to an answer for your dilemma.
Be glad to.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. All right, Derek Wright. We got 2 Derek Wrights.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we evidently do.
You're Danny's son,
I'm glad
aren't
you
you?
said that, because I was
Okay,
thinking
I
of
thought
the other
you
one.
were.
Yeah, I was thinking.
All right, well, I'm Derek Wright. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Just really a few questions, I guess, based around the subdivision regulations. My partner and I, Mitchell Mims, are looking at acquiring a small mobile home community, and I've actually talked with Heath and Mr. Perkins here and there. And we're just trying to understand a few things. My specific questions are on the letter I just gave you. I guess kind of run through those, and maybe if we have time for discussion, we can get there. But really what we're wondering is, hey, it's our understanding the subdivision regulations, I guess, govern or apply for expanding our new mobile home communities. But does just the transfer of ownership or us buying a mobile home, existing community, does that necessitate those regulations? I guess more specific to the road regulations in that document. Do we have to automatically go in and abide by those road regulations? The second one is if the county it's a small road, it's half a mile maybe, but it'd be easily owner maintained. If the county is not expected to take ownership of that road and maintain it, does it still necessitate those regulations? That's just unclear to us. But then also there's a provision in the regulations about storm shelters. It's basically says for mobile home parks, you gotta have a storm shelter to accommodate all the residents. Would that automatically be necessitated if we buy that property?
That is a good question as far as an existing mobile home park being purchased. That was one of our discussions, and I don't know if we got down that road far enough for an answer or any kind of direction tonight.
I
We've
got a
been-
question. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No.
No, go ahead.
When was this subdivision, or park established?
I don't know. I don't know factually. I can tell you 15 or 20 years ago. It's been there a while. Probably more than that, but I remember just riding that by there as a younger adult and seeing it there. So.
Well, my point is, if I understand correctly, the commissioners in 2015 adopted the regulations that we have now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering, was this established before then or after then? And that may help us answer a question of,
Yeah, I don't know
does it
factually,
grandfather
but-
in because it was before 2015?
I'm fairly
Can you
certain
say
it
which
was.
park it is, or you rather not
It's
say?
not a named park. It's off of County Road 461. I think, so 461 intersects County Road 28. It does a loop down, like going out towards Lake Mitchell. It basically has two intersections. So it'd be the farther eastward intersection. It's near there. I think it's actually a numbered county road. Even
That's
though it's
where
private, I think it's County Road 415.
Comes off of 28 there at Iron Ore Hill,
Oh, I don't know.
loops back
Is this-
south and comes back
Past the
in.
gas station.
It goes back in the woods. It's
Yeah,
the one that goes back in the woods.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
that one's been there a while.
Yeah.
So,
There might be one other thing, I think Mr. Wright had mentioned about expanding the park.
Yeah, so,
Well-
yes, adding lots, I guess, to be more specific, expansion can be, there can be a lot of assumptions. I think for this specific park, we could add lots and not have to expand the road system, but just, it would be less, maybe 100-foot driveways to access the lots. It
Well-
wouldn't be.
well, and
building
that
a
was
whole
my,
new
that
road
was my question. That was my question, and we're dealing with, we're dealing with 2015 regulations
Yeah,
that we are currently working on, and part of the answer is gonna be the same as we gave, Mr. Kane. Just stick around a minute.
okay.
Are, the vacant lots are currently already there. You're not creating a bunch of lots and pushing the road further and doing expansion of the road and all that. And I'm dealing with just what we're currently going on.
Yeah.
That's where that question derives from.
Yeah, so there are, I tried to kind of lay it out in the letter here. There's 3, maybe 4 places where there was lots developed at one time, but they're vacant now. You can't really tell, I don't know if there's septic tanks there or not. I just kind of rode through there and looked at it briefly. Well, it looks like pads were built for mobile homes. But then, I guess, a continuation of that is, if we do add lots without expanding the road system, would that negate the application of these regulations?
Okay, I hate to cut you off, but 5 minutes has passed.
Okay.
But if you will, like I said, hang around, you'll probably get, just like Mr. Kane, you'll have an answer,
Okay,
shortly.
thank you.
Okay, Cindy Blackman?
Okay, this is the first time I've ever done this. I do it at school all the time, but this is the first time I've been to you guys. What I come for is, well, my thing was I wanted to tell you all good evening, and I'd like to address our chairman, Alan Williams, and Chilton County Humane Society liaisons, Alan and Sheila, as well as Chilton County Animal Control and Chilton County Commission. I'm standing here actually on behalf of multiple concerned community, animals, advocates, and donors. I guess they thought I was a good person to get up and talk, but I feel like God put me here for a reason. I'm not using that in vain, but that is just I've never been asked to speak about something. So I'm standing here. And I would like to introduce myself because some of you know me. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for y'all. But I grew up in Chilton County. I've lived in Chilton County all my life. So nothing's new to me. I love children. I love animals. I love both of those. And mine are the babies I have at school through 3rd grade. And they are absolutely wonderful, and I guess that's why I'm still there now at 20 years with the children. And I also love animals that way, and that's why I'm standing here tonight for them. Not for me, and not for anybody else, but I'm their voice, and I feel like that's what I needed to do. I have bunches on my own, too, at home that I've rescued over the years, and I can't take any more because I'm full, but I love them. Also, let me get to where I'm at. For several years, the Humane Society of Chilton County has seen a steady decline in the care of the animals. And I knew Jennifer. I had her kids at school, and I love Jennifer. But it has declined, and I guess after a while we get tired, because if I started doing that at school, I want to go home, because I don't want to keep staying there, honestly, if I can't take care of them. So my concern is, and as far as steady declining, it got worse. To me, last year probably was the worst year because I've been in and out, and I've donated money, I've donated food. I just took wheatgrass not long ago. I took about $300 worth of that before it got cold weather. So I don't mind helping. I am, I don't mind at all helping, and as long as they're took care of. So, and I know Janet, and you know her name, but Janet worked really well there. I met her there. She was really nice to me trying to help, and she's done a great job, and I could tell that's when it inclined a little from what it was doing, the time she took over in October. The management board, again, the president, I had to figure out what animal control and what Humane Society was, because it was like two different things that were coming at me, and I was confused. But I think I'm getting it. But the leadership has failed to me, and that's, not just to me, but I'm speaking for others, and that being the president, and that's Jimmy. And I'm not putting him out, but he is the president that's sitting in that seat right now. But two, inhumane treatment to the technicians also, as I feel, has happened, especially lately. And as well as failed to provide donors accurate documentation when they're donating. I've not gotten anything. Really, nothing to show that I've done anything, honestly. And that's a personal thing. Due to the Humane Society failing to follow their bylaws and numerous factual accounts, the Chilton County Animal Control, with the collaboration of the Humane Society functioning, as well as a nonprofit adhering to the bylaws as Chilton County taxpayers, monies are being contributed into an organization that doesn't have a treasurer. I don't know who was supposed to be watching the money, but I did read bylaws because I'm trying to help, and I'll be honest with you, I've just kind of gotten out talking just lately because of all this, because I love the animals. So just seeing some of the bylaws and reading them, some of that stuff is not being done. And I have that on the back, and you may not want to hear that. I may not have time, I may run out. But also I want to hit about euthanization. It was prevalent up until September, October of 2024. This is when the new staff was hired and began to collaborate with rescues and fosters. The results at that point, they saved many animals from October till now. They haven't put any down. I believe instead of us just killing them off without giving them a chance of living, again, that goes back to me loving animals, finding a loving home and someone to love them and have them and cherish them, because it's not their fault that they're being born and people's throwing them out. It's the people's fault. But anyway, that includes us using rescues and fosters, because it's been a good thing, because I've met some of them and they're real nice. But also euthanization, I want to go back to the term. When you define it, it does mean to put down animals that are relieved from pain and suffering.
Cindy, I don't want to rush you. You've got about 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, my main thing was, and to sum it down, because I had wrote it down, I was thinking, and I cried a little bit, because I do love animals. But my biggest thing is, if we have, whoever steps into that place, we need somebody that's going to do really good, that loves them, cherishes them, don't want to just kill them all of a sudden, or don't want to take care of them. That is my main worry with that, and I would love somebody in place that will take care of them and do the best. And I'll help donate, still as much as I can.
Okay.
But I just cried the other day, and that's my big thing of why I'm here is really because I do love them
Okay.
a lot.
All
And
right.
thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, Rebecca Metcalf, is that right?
Good evening. I'm just gonna get right to it. Thanks for everybody for being here. I've been in rescue for decades. I started here 4 years ago with rescue. I was told that fosters and volunteers, Chilton County, nobody will contribute, nobody will foster, nobody will volunteer, nobody will donate, nobody will set a trap in TNR, nobody will pay for TNR. Well, several of my volunteers from Chilton County TNR are here, fosters, as well as transport, people who do TNR. Currently, I have 32 fosters, active fosters, that have at least one, if not 5, 6, 10 animals in foster. So this idea that Chilton County won't step up is not true. The truth of the matter is the person that I spoke to was the director of the Humane Society, didn't want to work that hard. It was easier to just euthanize them. And again, I sit with Cindy, euthanize is the wrong word, it's killing. Euthanizing is to put something down out of mercy. And if you're killing for space, you're killing. There are 3 dogs that I have down there, vetted, ready for transport, that have been held, and I still don't have a reason why. And when the Humane Society is involved, there should be transparency. And if the county doesn't want to tell the community what's going on down there, and they're not letting animals out, but they're still taking animals in, either they're lying about why they're holding the animals, or they simply don't care about the new animals coming in and getting sick. Still don't have an answer there. I've got a lot going on with my personal family medical issues, and I did not get a chance this last week since she's been there. And I tried again today. I didn't get there. My daughter's in the hospital. I'm dealing with a 79-year-old Parkinson's mom. So I'm doing everything I can. I'm spread very thin. But when it comes to the animals, I will not stop. I came here 4 years ago to retire. I'll get away from rescue. Chilton County was the wrong place to go. So I opened my own 501c3. Instead of working with the Humane Society, helping each other, I had to spend $5,000 on an attorney to get a 501. That $5,000 could have been donated to the Humane Society, and there's the start of a TNR program. She wouldn't discuss it. I got money. I can donate. I can put together a TNR program, but I wanted to work with the county. I wanted to work with an existing shelter. She absolutely refused. And I've got a whole list, Sheila's heard them, of all the things that she said won't happen. Well, I've made all of it happen. I've got veterinarians reducing prices. I've got volunteers picking up animals at my house, running them for spay and neuter, releasing them back where they were trapped. Fosters stepping up, getting animals to transport. Sheila joined us on a transport, our first transport of 2025. 30 animals got out of the county that day. This last Sunday, 14 from my shelter, from my rescue on Sunday, flew out and went out on ground transport. 3 of the dogs that are at the shelter that should have been on that transport are being held, and there's no reason for it, none. I haven't met her yet. I would like to meet her, I'd like to work with her. I was told that she wants to work with rescue. I'm hearing so much, and I'm trying not to let it. I've heard a lot of derogatory things. Janet turned that place around and lifted it up on her shoulders and carried it for nearly 2 months. And in my opinion, from what I'm hearing, she's been thrown to the trash. The community loved her in there, and to remove her was a big mistake. Big mistake. And I will not work with a shelter. I will not continue to do rescue with a shelter when every time I walk in, I get harassed, I get banned, which is something that I would have to call Hardy and say, Jen won't let me in, so Hardy'd have to call her, and then we'd have to have a conversation. I've got shelters that I walk into, and they praise that I'm there. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. What can you take? They're thrilled to see me. I don't need the drama. There's lots of shelters that I pull from. And there's plenty of animals on the street that need help. And if we can't work together, nothing is going to get accomplished. Nothing. We have to work together. And if Christina is her name, Christina, she needs to be more transparent. She needs to reach out to the community and say, this is what's going on, and this is why we're not letting animals go, or we can't take animals in. And again, I still don't have an answer as to what's going on there. Will I get those dogs? I've got rescues. One of them's gotten an adopter in Florida. Waiting.
Time. You got anything else to add to that,
No,
Ms. Metcalf?
I really just want, we have the same goals. And I just really want, the community wants to be able to work with the shelter, donate, and be a part of it
Okay.
without the drama.
All right. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have on public comments. Sheriff.
Good evening, lady and gentlemen. Tonight, I'll be asking for a resolution for Lonnie Melton to be put in as a supervisor for the corrections officer. And be asking for a resolution for Trey Maywell to be hired as a full-time deputy sheriff. I'll also be asking for a resolution for Scott Starnes as a full-time deputy sheriff.
Okay. That's all you got?
That's it.
Good.
Y'all have any questions for me?
No, sir.
No.
Thank you for,
Well,
thank you for allowing the inmates to go down and help with the animal shelter. They
Yes.
did a great job.
yes, sir. Nothing else. I got a family function I need to get to.
Enjoy it.
Y'all
Thank
have
you.
a good night, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
All right. Commission office, Nikisha.
Yes, the library has an open nomination there. Mrs. Ann Glenn has resigned, and they're requesting, Paula Mitchell as the appointee.
And that's
So
just
we'll
finishing out
open-
this year's term, right? Okay,
So I'm assuming we'll open, have the 3 meetings.
yeah.
The next thing is, an agency agreement for National Voting Rights Act. And this is a routine thing we do, that we have to allow the, state to act as our agent to send out mailings for national voting rights. It's a part of the code, and we just have to sign that agreement with them. It's time to renew, our yearly leases. We have the extension office, the disabled veterans office, boat storage for East Chilton Fire, the game warden, and the park ranger, and then the, cattle barn for the Cattlemen's Association is, they all expired December 31st.
Okay, we might have to hold on the cattle barn. I don't know if it's safe. I've got to talk to the one that went out and looked at it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that contract, but I'll, don't put it on the agenda for tomorrow night on that renewal, hold it.
Okay. Just know too that we have to have that in place for the insurance, so,
I'll have it before the last meeting.
We might can do it pending, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we can do it pending the safety inspection of the building. Good idea.
the next thing is, to approve the chairman to execute documents for the Chilton County Airport Authority. Basically, he applies for grants through the FTA, and it just allows the process to go smoother if we give him that authority. And then, we have invoices for the CDBG project, the water project, that needs to be approved, that'll be in the consent agenda. And, accept and award I skipped one. The Veterans Office lease for the Veterans Affairs, it expires in March, and I need direction on, how long we want that to be, because they're gonna be in the new courthouse. So it was 5 years, so,
We got 454 days, got 18 months before that'll happen.
so 2 years.
I'd say a year with
Do it a
the
year
renewal.
with a possible renewal on a month to month.
Okay. And we received 3 bids for the ground maintenance. That is, Ironman Lawn Care, Lake Lawn Landscape, and American Lawn Care, and we'll be accepting those and awarding the bid at the meeting tomorrow
Okay.
to the lowest bidder. And then we also have invoices for the recreation trails at Manuka to approve that's in the consent.
All right. Anybody got any questions on that?
It's to go out.
Oh, the trash,
Oh,
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
So we haven't sent
no,
the,
everywhere, the courthouse,
Oh,
all the county buildings.
we haven't sent those bids out, but do you want us to go ahead and send them out?
Yes.
yeah. It's time.
With,
Exception of Higgins Ferry.
Higgins Ferry, and I might be working with the liaisons with, Humane Shelter on something. So,
So you want-
leave the Humane Shelter out and Higgins Ferry out.
They- Actually, we might wanna go ahead and take the bid and just do it as an, addendum, so that if we choose to go ahead and accept the bid, we wouldn't have to rebid it.
Yeah, that sounds,
To include them?
yeah, include the, no, not Higgins
Animal
Ferry,
shelter.
just animal
Just-
shelter.
Okay.
All right, anything else, Makisha?
No, sir.
All right, Heath? 5 minutes.
All right, glad to be here, Commission. And first up, I want to talk about our Rebuild Alabama annual report. All counties submit this at the beginning of each year. It talks about our balance of craft funds and federal aid exchange funds at the beginning of the year, and how much came in and how much was expended. Let's see, this year we started out with craft funds of $1,368,848 and federal exchange funds of $1,780.96. We received $1,095,825.94 in craft fund revenue for the year, and our $400,000 in federal exchange funds. And our expenditures were for the County Road 15 project, which were bid and awarded to Wiregrass Construction. That 8.2 mile resurfacing project, widening resurfacing project's been finished, and its final cost was $1,862,242.60. And all the funds, of course, were through the bid process, so we met the threshold of having to bid out at least 50% of the expended funds. And so I would request for this to be in the minutes as well as to be posted on our website. Next up, we have completed the tower sites, the P25 tower sites, and looking to reclaim or reconstruct some gravel roads. We've had some issues with some being muddy or slippery, but we're really looking for high-traffic roads that you think that might need to be built up during the winter months. The winter months, we don't really know when we can work, depending on rain dependence, so we're looking for just gravel roads. Not a high traffic count, but enough, to be an improvement for the county. So if you have any of those, if you'd submit those, and we can come up with a priority list of a couple of roads to do this winter. Also on the attachments, there's a list of some of the roads that we reconstructed last year, or rebased last year. Just wanted to make this commission aware of just what the previous commission had budgeted this upcoming year, what projects, what contract projects and force account projects we have. So if you have any questions with those, you can bring those up to the commission, or if not, we'll just continue to move forward with getting those, plan on doing those this summer. And last, we talked about the County Road 97 and 478 intersection. There's currently just a stop sign on 97 northbound traffic. And the previous commissioner requested we look at it and see if we could make it safer, because there were some issues with that, with those motors having to come to a stop and then having to ease out to the intersection to be able to look the opposite way down 97. And we had looked at adding a stop sign to 478 and moving the intersection from 97 northbound, move it up into an island. We were going to paint an island and also add a stop sign at 478. However, we noticed that there's a lot of log trucks that come on to 97 off of 478, and when they make that turn, we were able to check it out, and they will barely clear those stop signs that would be, those proposed stop signs that are going to be in the island, but more than likely those stop signs are going to get taken out quite frequently. And I think it would just be safer all around just to make it a three-way stop. And we'd, of course, put stop bars and stop ahead signs for all motorists approaching that intersection. I think that would make it safer. And I would request approval to make that intersection a three-way stop.
Okay.
And last, I met with the Subdivision Regulation Committee, and one of the questions they asked me was, had I marked up the body of the subdivision regulations? Have I checked them, examined them? And I had, and I knew there was many issues that we needed to be corrected so that we could enforce and monitor them also, as well as the public could better understand them, because right now they're not only confusing, but there's a few spots where they're wrong. And so I have, at the time I didn't have it, but now I've turned into the committee a marked up copy of what I would like to propose, the changes. Also talked to the health department, and they have concerns for any lots that are less than 3 acres. And maybe something we can work around, but I think that's something the committee may want to listen to, is the health department and what their concerns are. And that's all I have.
So you say committee, I thought we done away with
with the committee,
It's not committee liaison.
Liaisons.
and that's,
And Roger.
gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, Mr. Billingsley,
No, sir.
Mr. Bone.
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Williams, for getting us some money from the park, the overlook park down on Highway 22. And I would like a resolution to earmark that money to go to the general fund for the park improvements and some equipment.
Okay,
And speaking of equipment, we've had problems with trash down at Higgins Ferry. And I think I've come up with a solution, me and, the ranger down there, purchasing a trailer, and we found one, and I would like to, that money coming from the park, purchase the trailer, so we can haul the trash off to our local, transfer station. We already have an account there set up.
and it needs to be known too, that it's not just a happenstance that Commissioner Bone has suggested doing this, but we've had trouble getting trash picked up at Higgins Ferry for quite a while.
Several years now.
We've had one company who did it, his equipment went down, and nobody else wants to go to Higgins Ferry to pick up that trash. So he came up with this idea. In my opinion, it's an excellent idea. We can handle it as we need to. We don't pay somebody every week to come down and pick up 3 bags of trash. We can let it trailer fill up and then take it off when we need it. And we can take it as needed. So I think that's a good idea.
And I've donated my trailer down there for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks? 3 to 4 weeks, and he's only emptied it one time. So since we removed the dumpster down there, people have stopped putting trash in our dumpster.
Neighbors are not doing it.
Yeah, so we was basically paying for dumping the community's trash.
Well, that's something Commissioner Childers and I had noticed in the dumpster down at the animal shelter. It's outside the gate, and I think some of the stuff that was in there didn't appear to something that the animal shelter would have generated. So we're gonna remedy that down there too.
Yeah, earlier I was talking to Commissioner Childers, and I'll bring, Miss Sheila up to the park. And, we can come together and maybe we can find a trailer for them too. And means of dumping it. Parking it, the trailer on the inside of the property.
Okay, well, we might talk about doing that.
That'll save us in the long run, it'll pay for itself.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll let Commissioner Hall and Commissioner Childers, bring that to us if we need to do that. All right, got anything else?
Do I need to get, I've already turned in the specs and the pictures and the cost on that trailer. I give it to you, didn't I? I give it to one of y'all.
I think I got it.
Yeah, Tiffany.
Okay, so you're gonna have.
I'm looking over your bald head.
Looking over there.
Okay, so McKeeson needs to write down a resolution for tomorrow night
To purchase the trailer.
to first designate the funds.
Yes,
And then secondly, to purchase a trailer
correct.
for Higgins Ferry
Higgins
Park. Okay.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Well, franchise, he'd be using the park truck to pull the trailer with.
Yes, sir.
Is that truck
Yes, sir.
marked
It's
up with lights?
Yes, sir.
Well, he'd be the only one to be able to drive it, then, correct?
Yeah.
But you don't have the certification. This is going back about 5, 6 years ago when we got that truck. I was in a meeting, and he was the only one allowed, no hired help, part-time, anything can allow it because it's marked up. You got Chilton County, I think it's Sheriff's Department,
No, it's got part.
law enforcement on it with lights. You gotta pay the post, what is it?
Yeah.
A
He is
post.
a post.
So he'll be the only one to be
Yeah.
able to drive the truck. to
That's
do-
correct.
Except Commissioner Bone.
Oh, yeah. You're free though, aren't you? It'll work.
That's right.
Well, should it become an issue, then we'll talk with the road department.
I'm pretty sure he can spare
Yeah,
a person
Yeah,
if we have to.
he's
from-
got people just sitting around waiting on people, something to do.
Yeah, take one of their trucks and.
On a rainy day?
Rainy day.
Okay. All right, anything else, Commissioner Bone?
No, sir.
Commissioner Childers?
No, sir.
Commissioner Hall?
Good evening, everyone. On last week, our new director started on the 6th, Christina Bullock, and we are in hopes of collaborating with the Humane Society. However, there is some opportunity for improvement with us collaborating with them, following the guidance that they should. We are to, and you're going to elaborate, I think, tomorrow night on that more. But in order for me to be a part, and I say this to us and to the general public, I will not be a part of anything if we're not in compliance. Because as taxpayers, we want our monies allocated appropriately. So yes, there has been a lot of communication. However, we're separate entities, but sometimes there has been some involvement on both sides. But as a whole, the Humane Society has to follow by the bylaws to be a partner with the Chilton County Commission. And if that's not in accordance, it's like any other 501c3 organization. They have governance that they have to abide by. And the board has to follow their bylaws. And sometimes that's where problems arise. I cannot support things that are not, and you all, Commissioner Perkins, Commissioner Baum, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Childers, Commissioner Billingsley, and Commissioner Headley, we all have to work together and assure these people that these things are done accordingly. Okay? So I want to state that because I'm here for me, I'm here for the people. And we're going to do things right on that, in that aspect. We do have a new director. Change sometimes is in our favor, change sometimes is not. And we want to afford the opportunity. But we are Chilton Countyans, and we love to look after our own people. And we want people to be taken care of. You all want these animals, and so do I. It has been pure Hades over the weekend with all this going on. We're better than this. And we as a commission, I feel like that we can get it together to convey the message to the people. We want animals taken care of. And sometimes when there's an elephant in the room, we have to call it out. And for a person's good faith, name, and character, I will not say. But we have board members of a 501c3 organization that's liable by the state and the guidance of taxpayers that they have to abide by those rules. And we want to do the best in our interest for our community to partner with that. Perhaps that was the reason why the county assuming these responsibilities. And I just want to say I am an advocate for the community as well as I am an elected official for the next 4 years. I want to do due diligence, to do my job, and to do what I'm set here to do. Yes, we can agree to disagree, but in the best interest of our community, we don't want all the social media, all the news outlets. Chilton County, we're better than this. We have to hold everyone accountable to their actions and do what is in the best interest for our county. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. Okay. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything else, Commissioner Hall?
That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Headley?
I ain't got anything.
Commissioner Perkins, and I'm gonna hold you to 5 minutes.
Mine wasn't
That's good.
5 minutes long, so I'll give him like 3 of mine.
Thank you,
Because he's
Mr.
like
Chairman.
speaking for me too.
Oh,
Yeah, we combined a little bit of stuff. I'm gonna start with, I do have a few things on the agenda. Thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for your community support and your involvement and your concern with the county. I do applaud that, no matter the views. Same way with, Ms. Hall spoke. We're all one big county, and, we want what's best for the county and the citizens of the county. So, mine, I've got a couple of different things. I'm gonna start with the easiest one first. So, myself and Commissioner Bone are over, parks and recreation. We are going to, doing a little revamping on how the park departments currently operate. Higgins Ferry and Manuka has always been two separate entities, basically as a park. We're bringing them under one umbrella as a Parks and Recreation Department. We spoke with HR Director, and then, of course, we've had meetings with the affected employees. So basically, tomorrow I'll be asking for the Parks and Recreation job descriptions to be approved, and then doing a reclassification of each of the team members that we currently have, reclassification of Donald Giles, Gerald Erickton, David Reed, and Teddy Chambers. We'll get involved in that tomorrow. You'll see that should be in your package for those. That's something that's, we want to take our Parks Department, and I think me and Commissioner Bone agree, and then others that I've talked to up here, they are part of economic development in the county. They are a way that we can provide nice areas to go to, recreational opportunities. And we have been set with a goal by our chairman to make them self-sustaining, to where they're not a drain on the taxpayers of the county, but they hold their own, so to speak, I would say. We are very close to doing that, and we think that the new vision and a few changes along the way will help this out. As many know, they are subsidized by the county, and we feel that some of the subsidization from the county, the better the parks are to stand on their own, the less subsidizing by the county, when it frees up that money to go to other budgets and to true economic development to make the county a better place to live and to grow and have a family. So that's what we're gonna do with that. So I'll be asking that tomorrow. The other thing is,
Anybody got any questions on that?
because
I got a question.
I'll blow right through this.
I don't have a question. I do have something that when I tasked Commissioner Bone and Perkins to make these parks self-sufficient, I don't know if anybody see the grin on my face, but from what I've seen out of them for the last 2 months, I believe those parks, I was hoping by the end of the 4 years. I'm not sure that they won't get these parks self-sufficient by the end of this year. I mean, they've hit the ground running, and if anybody's close, they're gonna drag you with them. So be prepared to work if they talk to you, and I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And along that same lines is, everybody knows, of course, I've been fishing my entire life, but, being around the industry some, the fishing industry is a multi-million-dollar industry, and not only just in the county, but in the state. But sticking with some of the things that the county does, it is an economic generation machine. The tourism dollars that's brought in by bass tournaments that are coming to Higgins Ferry, or either local events out of what we call the Flatlands, which is a public landing off of 607 on the bottom of Lay Lake. Those things bring in a lot of revenue to the county, a lot of tourism to the county, and they've been underutilized in several years as far as what we have. I know the growth with the new hotel that's coming up in Clanton, and the current situation we have, it's just we haven't really gone after a lot of big events, regional, national events that can bring in a lot of revenue and then basically like put us on the map, so to speak. But we're attempting and going to attempt to try to do those things in the coming future. We have a lot of good leads on those things. Along the while, having said that, about 6 months ago, the Department of Natural Resources for Alabama proposed a very aggressive slot limit on the Coosa River from Weiss Lake all the way to Lake Jordan. It's an aggressive slot limit that was not placed on
You might
all.
tell them what a slot limit is.
Well, a slot limit on a tournament is a rule that a tournament angler can only have fish that reach a certain limit. And currently we fish under like a 12-inch limit. The limit on the Coosa River is 0 technically, but on tournaments we place a 12-inch limit. If they go to a slot limit, it means you would not be able to keep fish anywhere between the lengths of 14 to 20 inches, which is roughly a 6-pound bass. So you would basically have people wanting to come to your county, and instead of wanting to come to your county now and enjoy catching 3 and 4 pounders and having 20 pounds win events, they're going to be handcuffed, and you're going to have very little participation. You're going to have a huge participation drop off. So the Department of Natural Resources did a supposed study, and they introduced this proposal that they're going to vote on in March for a slot limit for regulations, and regulations to be placed on tournaments only, not people keeping fish, but just on tournaments only. This has been vehemently opposed by multiple counties, cities, tourism boards. Coosa River keepers requested that we bring this up. And most recently, the passage of this resolution was by the city of Gadsden, and some of y'all may have seen that on ABC 3340. It was carried statewide. It's had a lot of traction lately. And then the resolution that I'm going to be presenting was drafted by Representative Lipscomb. It's backed by many others, and as I said, it was adopted. So the resolution, as summary, is I'm going to ask for a resolution that we, as commission, sign this and send it to the appropriate place. It's a resolution expressing the opposition of Chilton County Commission to restrictions placed on fishing tournaments on the Coosa River and affirming the commitment to improving local fisheries. I can read all this if you want me to.
You can read it in tomorrow night.
I can read it in tomorrow. That'd be fine. All right. But as in a nutshell, it's just us expressing an opposition to it, because if the slot limit were to pass, you're going to have a huge decline in the participation of tournament anglers, which means those organizations will move those events off of Lake Mitchell, off of Lay Lake, and will create a huge economic deficiency in here. We're going after events that sometimes can bring over $1 million in a week for revenue.
That was my question.
So what was your question?
I was gonna tell them how much one fishing tournament
Oh.
will actually bring to this community.
Yeah, we have certain events that are slated that we're hoping to attract. And those places will come here because of, you know, the amenities that we have and the good people of the county, and we can really showcase that, and we don't want to lose that opportunity. So that's why that.
You did have a number that it did bring, one tournament brought how many millions of dollars?
Well, there's a particular organization, they all vary depending on who all they're bringing, but we have one particular organization that we've talked to that would bring about $1.3 million economic benefit, and that's usually done on a 3-time multiplier. You know, these things are televised. They go out and attract a lot more people wanting to come to the area even after that professional event might be here. So.
And not only do they do the fishing tournament, they will actually go out into the community and stop at other businesses as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just bring in a lot of tourism dollars. Excuse me. So we don't want to lose that. We don't want the State Department passing something that we feel, or in my personal opinion, is a biased study. And we don't want them particularly passing this and it create a situation where we cannot generate revenue and based on of the attraction of bigger events and bass tournaments to the county. So,
And about the hotel, we were persuading the hotel owner, the new hotel owner, Hampton Inn, to provide hookups out in the parking lot. So passing this resolution will show them that we're serious about
Right.
maintaining our tournament.
Right, and I'll
Here
read,
in
I'll read
Chilton
all that
County.
tomorrow.
There's two things I'll add to what Commissioner Perkins has said. First of all, I am not a fisherman, so this is not a fisherman bias. I read the article on 3340's website and I also read the bill. I'm kind of a nutcase when it comes to reading legislation in Montgomery, and this is a bad piece of legislation. It is not good for Alabama. The second thing is, I think if you want to see what kind of economic impact it would have on Chilton County, you can go to 3340's website, and you'll have to scroll and find that story on the Gadsden story. It's mind-boggling what one fishing tournament like that leaves in the county. They don't come here, and we don't have to spend any tax money on them. They leave tax money here. That's what we want. So, all right.
Well, her question was, will this happen? You're talking about the State Department trying to get it. Yeah, they have a meeting coming up in March. That's why we've been asked or tasked trying to get all the opposition that we can to it so that we can express our concerns with the economic impact. So technically, if they were to choose to pass this in March, it would be on 2026's rules. But we have a lot of stuff planned for 2026 through 2028 already. As far as we've been pretty aggressive trying to go after some events, and this hinges the city of Lincoln. I'll just give you an example. The city of Lincoln. They were told that if it did pass, that organization would pull out of that area. So they have a lot of concern over it. So they, of course, have passed this and adopted this too. So, and it's just a simple support letter.
Okay. All right. What else?
All right. So this is the fun one. So I'm gonna read this statement, and then I don't know exactly where I'm gonna go because there's really not a resolution, I don't think, for tomorrow.
No.
Other than a request. But I wanted to bring everybody up to date on some work that we have been working on as far as subdivision stuff goes. So I'm just going to read this verbatim pretty much since I wrote this out. These suggested changes, and these were going to be done through amendments, have been done after many hours of work of myself, Commissioner Childress, and Chair Allen Williams. We have spoken extensively. We have extensively researched multiple counties' current regulations, spoken to other commissioners, attorneys, land developers, and most importantly, current residents who these would affect. We have found that while nothing is perfect, these changes would have us on the right track as far as doing two things that we feel is vitally important to the community. One, regulating actual subdivision developments and defining what is not a subdivision by working to provide a set of rules that would usher in a prosperity and common sense growth to the county. Two, the changes we feel more extensively will protect the rights of individuals by giving them more complete authority over their personal properties. As I read the proposed changes tonight, they are written as a guide, so they reference the complete work, so they're going to sound a little choppy. So I put in here, you may want to download a copy off of our current regulations from our website under the Road Department tab to be familiar with how the changes would then fit the entire body of work. I will read these tonight, and we'll be asking that the chair that we set a public meeting in the near future in order to be able to more deeply inform our citizens and provide a question and answer session that night. I believe between me and Commissioner Childress and Chairman Williams and myself that we agree this will give the county a greater opportunity for the public to provide input and enable us to build confidence with the people of the county as we go forth with these rules. As always, of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. So, would you like me to read? Well, I'll read these in a work session, and then we'll just try to set a meeting tomorrow, or how you want to operate this.
Are you gonna read them again tomorrow night?
I wouldn't have to. That's
wanna
up
read
to
it?
you,
You wanna
Purdy.
read it? No, you can read
I can
it.
read them tonight, and then if y'all have any questions, you
We're
stay.
not gonna take any action on it tomorrow.
No, there's no action. I'm not asking for any action other than we set
Other than a city
a
date.
public meeting.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Correct. All right. So all this would be done through an amendment. All the following would be governed by Article 10, Section 10-4 of the current regulations that provide the county commission the authority to make amendments. The addition to Article 22159B as a subdivision, minor subdivision definition, the division of one lot from a larger parcel where both parcels meet the requirement of 200-foot frontage on an existing city, county-maintained, or state road. For this purpose, a minor subdivision shall be deemed a division or tract of land 3 acres or less along an existing city, county-maintained, or state road into not more than 5 single-family residential lots, including the remainder of the original tract from which the lots were divided, and not requiring any new street, road construction, or extension of public utilities. Changes to exclusions, Section 2159. D, the division of land into parcels greater than 3 acres wherein all the following criteria are met. Frontage on the existing road of the parcel is 200 feet, and extension of public utilities is not required. There are others, but as I said, download it and you can see how these fit. And then the addition of, under exclusions, of the minor subdivision as defined would be an exclusion. Changes also to 21-37, immediate family member. Change would go to, as generally defined in Black's Law Dictionary as a term to describe spouse, parent, children, brothers, sisters, stepchildren, and adopted child. Currently, it is only spouse and child. So we're going to add the complete definition of an immediate family. The addition under 2-1-37 would create the following addition to the rule. 2-137B would be an additional family member limited herein as the grandparents and grandchildren and spouses thereof. So that grandparents don't fall under immediate family members, but we added them as additional family members in the thing. Then we have Section 1.4 as an addition, adding to Section D of the current State Code 1124.3, which the current regulations had all but the D. The chapter may be enforced by a county license inspector under Section 4012-10, including issuing a citation provided in subsection of 4012-10, or failure to properly obtain a permit or develop required pursuant to subsection of all Section 11-24-2. Licensed inspector may issue subsequent citations for failure to obtain a permit to develop if after 30 days the following of the issuance of the previous citation for the same violation, the owner or developer of the subdivision has not made proper application for permit pursuant to the requirements of this chapter. Applicable fines set out in subsection shall be doubled and separately assessed against the owner or developer of subdivision for each subsequent citation issued by a licensed inspector provided herein. Article 8, Section 8.1, removing the verbiage in the first sentence, reading currently as such as a commercial development, to read as a new paragraph. A new paragraph reads, a variance may be granted, this would be by the county commission's venue. A variance may be granted in circumstances where the developer demonstrates that extraordinary hardships or practical difficulties may result from strict compliance with the regulations. So it adds a little bit of variance. So these would be done as amendments as given to us by the power of the state. We are continually working on some other things, and I'm going to ask that the county commission, that we get together and figure out when we would need a public meeting. I think public meeting where we could reread them, explain them, and have a question and answer session that is civil and to where we can, you're never gonna have one that's perfect. We've spoken to so many people, and me and Commissioner Childers have talked to multiple people. You're not gonna have one that's perfect, but we think that we're on the way to being able to not only grow the county efficiently and in a common sense practicality, while offering citizens a better way to basically, in a nutshell, do what they want to on their own property, right? So that's what I'm going to be asking for tomorrow, is to set a public meeting.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, keep in mind that tomorrow night, and if possible, we will set a public meeting for a roundtable. I'm
Lady.
sorry. Thanks, Sheila. Commissioner Hall. Yeah, and ladies, to, see which dates in the next 30 to 40 days will work for a meeting, where we can get together and have a community meeting, work session, if you want to call it, roundtable, I call it, where it'll be give and take on discussion and taking questions.
I have one statement. It's on your, section 40-12-10. Says this chapter may be enforced by the county license inspector. We do not have one.
That's correct.
That's
Correct.
Can
We
make amendment that it be the county engineer?
no, I don't think you want that. Basically, Commissioner Billingsley, what this does, it's set with a little bit of forward thinking for growth. We realize we don't currently have one, but it's set for the ability to, when we do, to have those things enacted.
And another thing is, yeah, we've already got money in the budget to hire one, and our engineer has got enough to do. Because he can tell you, I probably kept him busier than anybody else calling him about illegal subdivisions for the past year. So, no, we need to take that off him and let him fix our roads and bridges. And that's just my,
I just tell you, we just read it as a county inspector.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will be an
We'll have to
inspector.
hire a new one, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to hire one. We'll have
With the
to,
money we're gonna save from the parks.
yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Got my big guy.
Anything further? Commissioner Perkins, or anybody got any questions for? Anything else? Okay, I don't have anything else, so I will adjourn this work session, and we'll be back at 6:30 tomorrow evening for our regular meeting.